John, I'm wondering about your own background a little bit. You started off as a cellist, which is something we typically think of as more traditional classical music. And how did you sort of discover this other part of the musical world?
Well, I did study classically, played with New York City Opera for years and New Jersey Symphony, and I enjoyed my classical training immensely. I am of Mohawk descent, so I started studying some Mohawk, I started meditating. In my touring, which I did quite a bit of, I started learning about a lot of different cultures' music through the musicians I met. And it's such an amazing way to get to know a place is by the food and the people and the musicians. So I toured for about 8 years with a Persian funk band with Will Calhoun from Living Colour on drums, and then Susan Dehim, Persian singer. And then I toured for 10 years with a string quartet, the Soldier String Quartet, that did Delta blues and jazz. So I've always been pretty eclectic. But for me, I just always want to go to another place. I don't want to get stuck too often, even though you could study classical music for several lifetimes and still not get it all. But so the diversity is interesting, and being in this county is perfect for that.
And talk a little bit about the diversity where it leads into the World Arts Festival, where we have Arab American Heritage Month, and some of the World Ensemble is going to be performing the Holocaust commemoration ceremonies. Yes. So there's so much diversity here, and it fits right into, I guess, your past.
Yeah, I think one of the important aspects of Montgomery College, one of our biggest missions, as I'm sure you know, is that we really are interested in reflecting what happens in our community, which is very much a microcosm of the world in this community. So part of it is that I found that to have me as a Native American and classically trained in European style music teach about African drumming, there's just so much I can really do with that. So since we have these amazing people right here, I started working with the Arts Institute and with the president of the college. They've been so supportive, and the music department, it's so visionary, in bringing different people to come and give workshops, and they're all open to the public, give classes on different areas of the world, and we rotate every semester to have different people come, as far as Australia, you know, Alaska, Ethiopia, Nigeria. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Wow. Tango from Argentina. We've been very fortunate here to have amazing people come specifically for the program, or people who live here already who have this rich heritage to tap into.
And Rob, maybe you can address this as well. You're learning some things that could be good in, not necessarily on stage, but you're learning to work in a team, you're learning to book gigs, you're learning some things that will be useful, I think, in other aspects of your life.
Yeah. Well, the resident artists that come here perform in D.C. and Baltimore and Maryland, and so they're not only teaching us how to play this music, but they're giving us real-world experience from this area. So, you know, if we want to go out and get a gig, we already know people on the scene, and we already have experience dealing with them and talking to them and playing with them. So I think it gives us a foot in the door that other programs might not give us.
That's great.
Excellent. And Crystal, in the theme for the Water for Life project that you're doing, were there anything that you were struck by, any highlights in your study? Because you've been working on this project for a while.
Well, one specific, I guess, fact about women in South Africa, they have to walk the distance of the moon and back collectively 16 times a day in order to fetch water for their families and the community. So water scarcity is a big issue, but when there is no water scarcity, then just getting the water is a problem too.
So that means for each individual woman that they may be walking several miles a day, carrying water on their shoulder, their head, wherever they can.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's
we take that for granted.
Yeah.
Because, and that's just amazing. People watching this are going to hear that and just be dumbfounded.
You never take water out of the tap in quite the same way again.
Yeah.
We don't have much time left in this segment, but John, if you could just say a little bit about the overall lessons that you've learned from students and the program. And
I think that the students in this community and the musicians in this community and the sort of just the community fellowship in general of audience members, of people like you, of our administration, it's really comes together a lot of times in music. And to look at global issues sometimes is very difficult. And when you do it through music, sometimes the abstraction of music can help the focus be stronger. And I feel very fortunate to be here. And I'll tell you, my students they're just beautiful. The work they do is beautiful and at a very high level.
Thank you all so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll meet an accomplished musician who is sharing his culture, knowledge, and experience with Montgomery College students. Stay tuned. You're watching Campus Conversations.